Hey guys, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see by the title of today's video, today I am discussing The Crow from 1994, directed by Alex Proyas, starring Brandon Lee. I think the main reason why I've put off discussing this film on my channel for so long is because how the f do I even begin talking about this film? It's kind of like talking about John Carpenter's Halloween. Like, how am I supposed to express in words just how much this movie means to me? Maybe there is no right way to do it. Maybe I just have to do it. I know that this film is so important to so many people and just had such a major impact on so many, especially if they grew up with the film like I did. Also, I figured with the new Crow movie coming out in a few months that I should probably just go ahead and finally discuss the original Crow from 1994. And also because I probably will review the new one once that one comes out. I'll talk later at the end of this video briefly on my thoughts about that. So yeah, The Crow. The night before his wedding, musician Eric Draven and his fiancée are brutally murdered by members of a violent inner-city gang. On the anniversary of their death, Eric rises from the grave and assumes the gothic mantle of the Crow, a supernatural avenger. Now, of course, this film is based on the graphic novel series by James O'Barr, which I did read a little bit of a few years ago. Somebody lent it to me. I really enjoyed it, even though graphic novels aren't really my thing. Well, the Crow graphic novel was created by James O'Barr to kind of help him deal with the death of his own fiancée, which were already just coated in tragedy from the get-go. Yeah, why not just address it first? The death of Brandon Lee during the production of this film. I'm not going to talk about what happened in detail. I know exactly what happened. I've read all you can read about it. You can look it up if you don't know for some reason what happened on the set of The Crow, but just an insane tragedy. I don't even know how else to put it. Like, you can't put it into words. It was a terrible accident and it shouldn't have happened and it sucks. And while I still absolutely believe that you can enjoy this film and still have a good time with it, it's just always in the back of your mind when you watch it, this terrible tragedy. So there's this like inevitable sadness there when you watch the film, and it just feels so palpable and unescapable. So Eric Draven is resurrected on Devil's Night and seeks vengeance on the murderers that killed him and his fiancée Shelley. So I just want to mention the film's atmosphere before anything else because holy crap, this movie is one of the coolest looking movies ever. It takes place in Detroit on Devil's Night, and just from the opening shots, you are just immediately in this gothic, grungy, neo-noir world, and it is so mesmerizing. So, the character of Eric Draven, portrayed by Brandon Lee. It's so interesting, but like I feel if someone were to just see a picture of Brandon Lee from this film, like all done up with the makeup and the all-black clothes, and they didn't know the movie or anything, they probably would just immediately think he's this like horror villain. And I feel like I've even seen Eric Draven be kind of grouped in with the famous horror guys. Then when you actually watch the movie, you're like, no, he's not that at all. He's charming and funny and human. Ironically, he's not this stoic, unrelatable character that we're forced to follow. He is extremely layered and likable, and you want to follow him around. You're never not on Eric's side. And the performance by Brandon Lee just enhances that because not only is the character likable, charming, and funny, he actually kicks some ass. The physicality of him and the way he moves is unreal. He was perfect for this role. One of my favorite moments from the whole film is when Eric sees the trick-or-treaters running in the street and they all kind of surround him for a second, you know, because he's made up too, and he just kind of laughs with them, and it's this really beautiful, pure moment of peace in the midst of all this murder and violence and revenge. It actually makes me tear up a little bit. Well, the majority of this movie kind of makes me tear up a little bit for multiple reasons. But there are just so many other iconic moments from this film, like him putting on the makeup with The Cure blasting in the background. Like, if you don't get chills during that scene, I don't know what's wrong with you. The iconic guitar solo, because of course he's a musician. All of the quotes from this film, I swear I could probably quote the entire film. Some of my favorite Eric quotes.
Victims, aren't we all?
Is that gasoline I smell?
Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Nothing is trivial.
Can't rain all the time.
And there's so many other quotes too that will just like stay with me forever for the rest of my life. Like this gem.
Halloween ain't till mañana.
And this classic. And then my favorite quote of the whole film, it's actually the last line of the film, and it's said by Sarah.
Buildings burn, people die, but real love is forever.
The supporting actors are also outstanding. Michael Wincott as Top Dollar is really great. Ernie Hudson is so endearing and funny and has so much chemistry with Brandon Lee. Tony Todd is in there, not nearly enough as he should be, but he's there. Oh, and just somewhat recently, I found out that the actor who plays T-Bird also plays Jerry Horn in Twin Peaks. Looks totally unrecognizable, but as both a Twin Peaks fan and a Crow fan, it was just a funny realization. So yeah, all the main cast and supporting casts are great. Let's talk about the soundtrack though. The soundtrack, oh my god. One of the best soundtracks of all time. A perfect encapsulation of early 90s grunge alternative rock. You got Burned by The Cure, which was written for the film. You got Dead Souls by Nine Inch Nails. Nine Inch Nails. We also have Stone Temple Pilots, Pantera, Helmet, the Jesus and Mary chain, like freaking incredible. Just a great era of music. Probably my favorite of all time, if I'm being completely honest with you. Quick little story. I remember one time I was at Half Price Books and I found the soundtrack CD to this film and I was so excited to buy it and just start listening to it in my car. So I buy it, and then later at home I realized that they had given me the soundtrack to The Crow City of Angels. So the soundtrack to the sequel, it was just in the case of the original soundtrack. It was just simply the wrong disc, but like, I was so freaking disappointed. I mean, the City of Angels soundtrack is fine, but nothing beats that original soundtrack. But anyways, I just thought that was a funny random story about the soundtrack. But yeah, speaking of sequels, I know that there are like 3 other Crow films that came after this and also a television series, I think. I haven't actually seen any of the sequels. They look not good. I've seen several clips from City of Angels, which came out in '96, I believe. I actually own the VHS tape for that one, but I just haven't actually watched it all the way through. And I know there's one with Kristen Dunst and Edward Furlong. I don't know. They don't look that good, but I wouldn't be opposed to watching them, I guess. And as you all know, there is a new Crow film coming out this year starring Bill Skarsgård as Eric Draven. The trailer dropped a few months ago. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry about this light on me, by the way. But yeah, I don't like to be negative. It really bums me out to be negative about film on my channel for whatever reason, but I swear, I watched the trailer for the new one and I could not stop cringing throughout the whole friggin' thing. Like, how the hell do you remake this well? Even if it's not taking a lot of inspiration from the '94 film and is taking more inspiration from the original graphic novel, which I don't know if that's the case, it's still impossible to not compare this to the '94 film. I'm sorry, but you can't expect people not to compare the two. Like, making The Crow in 2024 is just weird to me. Like, the original Crow was from arguably the coolest era of pop culture, in my opinion anyway, the early 90s. It's dark and it's dripping in atmosphere and the music and just the overall coolness of it. It is unmatched. And this new one, from the look and sound of the trailer, it just looks like a generic action movie that's trying to be a little goth. And it's like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Again, I apologize for the lighting. Sun's really coming through the blinds right now. Anyways, I will see the new one when it comes out and possibly review it for the channel because of course I'm gonna watch it. It's The Crow. But it looks like it's gonna be The Crow for the new generation and not really us OG fans, which that's fine, I guess. I do really like Bill Skarsgård, but I don't know, even Alex Proyas, the director of the original Crow, kinda expressed his concerns for this new reboot, which I think he feels very similarly to a lot of us. He basically said, "The Crow is not just a movie. Brandon Lee died making it, and it was finished as a testament to his lost brilliance and tragic loss. It is his legacy. That's how it should remain." So we'll have to wait and see. I think despite all the real life grief and tragedy surrounding this film, it remains such a cult classic and so influential to other films that came after it as well. It's got great action and choreography. It's visually captivating and the characters are interesting and relatable. It's compelling. The soundtrack is freaking awesome. It's sad, it's funny, it's sexy, it's thrilling. It's just such a special film, and it always will be. Either you get that or you just don't. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for listening to me talk about The Crow today. I feel like I could probably talk about The Crow for hours. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this amazing film in the comments below. Also, if you made it to this point in the video without turning me off, first of all, hi, love you. Thanks for watching to the end. Not everyone does that. I just wanted to really quickly let you guys in on something that I've been planning for a little while, which is a Patreon. Yes, I'm planning out a Patreon. Basically, the Patreon will be another place where you guys can choose to support me if you wish. I am not going to stop posting movie reviews or physical media content on YouTube or anything, but I'm thinking a Patreon could be just the perfect place for us to watch more movies together. I'm thinking full-length watch-along videos, bonus content, maybe little vlogs here and there, and yeah, just another platform where we can communicate more with each other and talk more about film. I'm still planning it out. I'm not very familiar with that platform as a creator, obviously, so the first few months will probably be a lot of me ironing out the kinks and everything and me just figuring out how everything works. But if it does sound interesting to you, just look out for it within the next few months or so. I'm not exactly sure when. I want to wait until I know for sure that I am in a place where I am able to provide you guys content on a consistent basis. Again, you absolutely do not have to support the Patreon. I'll still be on YouTube, but it'll be for those of you who are able to and just want to support me and support the channel. And yeah, I just think it'll be really fun. But yeah, more to come on that in the near future, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys a heads up in this video. Plant a little seed in your guys' noggin about it. So yeah, thanks again for listening to me talk about The Crow today. Let's talk more about the film in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video.